So I have some scions here that I cut 7.5 days ago. A lot of people wonder how long can they keep scions, so we'll do a little experiment. I've got a dwarf Hawaiian right here, and got Julie also. Oh, Juliet. So let me see about dwarf Hawaiian. Everything looks pretty darn green. We'll go for something that looks fairly active. Hopefully there's one with a fairly nice bud. Want to increase our chances of success here. Okay, so I think I'll go with this one. These haven't been wrapped. There it is right here. So this hasn't been wrapped in buddy tape. I just put it in a plastic bag with a damp paper towel when I cut it a week ago. So today I'll wrap it, cut it, and put it on this branch, and we'll watch it and see how it goes. So the bottom of this scion looks fairly brown, so I'll cut that off. That's nice and fresh there. And do a little whittling. Okay, so I'm just going to put it at the end of this branch. It's going to be a temporary graft because I already have 2 trees of dwarf Hawaiian, so I really don't need to have another branch of it. I'll just graft something else below. I think I'm just because of the curve of this. Let me see how I've got it going here. Yeah, I'll put it on this other side. Sorry that you can't see this as well, but this has a nice little curve in it too, so should match up pretty well. So, there's the cut right here. We'll slide it in. Just gonna cut a little bit off of this outside part. Okay, so that's looking good. Wrap it around for stability. Tail end of the buddy tape. Here, I don't need to be talking with a razor blade in my mouth. So you gotta make sure that everything's lined up while you wrap it into place, otherwise you're wrapping it out of place. Okay, so that's sealed in, and I just need to get a little elastic and make sure it doesn't move from that place. Okay, so that should be enough. Oop, where'd my razor blade go? So we'll check back on this. I just noticed that some of my other grafts this time of year were taking about 2 weeks before they started to sprout out. So it'll probably be at least 2 weeks before this one does. But there's a little dwarf Hawaiian. I'll come back and put a DH on there and we'll see how it does. Grafting with an old scion. Sort of have to sprinkle a little magic fairy dust on there and hope it does okay. It looked nice and green, but only time will tell. So I thought we were going to be done with this grafting with older scions, but look what I found. I just peeked into the Juliet bag with a wet paper towel, and look at those scions. It's amazing. These buds actually grew over in the week that they were in the wet or the damp paper towel inside of a plastic bag. So we'll put like at least one of these on the same branch and see how it does. So you know the drill. First we get the buddy tape out. I guess picking a scion here would be a good thing too. They all look so good, it's hard to choose. I guess I'll go with the youngest one. They're all fairly young, so it's really not that different. And we'll trim that end off. That can't be good. Not even sure where I put my razor blade. I was packing up and moving out. Gotta be in here somewhere though. Famous last words perhaps, but still. I think I just found some old ones, but I'll use them anyway. Sort of a nasty looking razor blade, but as long as I don't do surgery on myself, it should work out. Okay. Make sure I get that. Oh, a little bit too much, but we'll work with it. These things don't have to be perfect. And we'll just go lower down on this branch. Don't want to go too low because I might use this for something else. But this will give us two places that our grafts can establish. Here's the dwarf Hawaiian. Oops. Doesn't look like I'm getting a very good cut there, so I'll go again. Part of it is this rusty razor blade. Doesn't quite move as nicely as the other ones do. Okay, now I can trim a little bit, and that should be good. Okay. First we will position it, sort of get it in place. get nice elastic and keep it in place. Sort of not used to tying from this angle. Oops. I just tore a tiny bit of the, sort of pinched off a tiny bit of the buddy tape. So I'm just going to go back and seal it up again. It's right about there. Okay. Okay, so Juliet and Dwarf Hawaiian. Let's see how that goes. Maybe they'll encourage each other to sprout out, get a little friendly competition going. Anyway, that's really the end. Grafting with older scions. We'll see how it goes. And so be back with you in just a second. In your time, a couple weeks in this plant time. So here's an update on the scions that I grafted 12 days ago. This is Juliet, and the new leaves are peeking out there, and this one is Dwarf Hawaiian, and it's still green and has green buds, but they haven't sprouted out yet. Normally when I graft around the farm, I just cut scions from a tree and go to another place and graft them. And I know that's a luxury because I have this great source of bud wood, graft wood, and then I also have a huge source of trees that either seedlings or ones that I'd like to convert to another variety. So, I don't really think about storing scions, but a lot of people are in a different situation and they would like to know how long will a scion keep. Well, both of these, the Juliet and the Dwarf Hawaiian, were sort of an accidental experiment. I had cut them for a grafting workshop. They weren't used, and they just sort of stayed in a plastic bag with a little piece of a damp paper towel in the plastic bag, and rode around in the golf cart with me for more than a week. And then I thought, what the heck, I should do something with this plastic bag before it rots. I took out the scions that were in there, and they looked darn good. So I took one of the Juliet and one of the Dwarf Hawaiian and grafted them, and both of them are looking very good. They're both viable. The Dwarf Hawaiian is not in as good of a position on the tree as the Juliet. Juliet's getting more of the resources, and so but they both are good. The main thing to remember when you have scions that you want to use later is to either wrap them completely with buddy tape, including the cut end, or put them like in a plastic bag with a small piece of a damp paper towel or something like that. I have kept scions in the vegetable drawer of the refrigerator, and that seemed to work out pretty well. But room temperature this time of year was fine. I would not have them in a plastic bag on the golf cart in the middle of the summer because they would just cook. But temperatures now are, highs are in the high 70s and lows are probably in the around 60. And in that range, they worked out fine. So anyway, hope that answers your question about how long will scions last. It doesn't answer it completely because we haven't pushed the envelope on that, but definitely they last at least 7.5 days.